Wow.
I mean, sleep is the greatest legal performance enhancing drug that most people are probably neglecting in sport.
Wow. And not just for your physical performance, but actually skill learning.
That's right. Skill learning, memory, and then also, downstairs in the body, all of the recuperative benefits. And you can flip the coin, by the way. If you're getting 6 hours of sleep or less, your time to physical exhaustion drops by up to 30%. So you could spend all of your time training for a 10-round fight, perfect condition, but then I put you on 6 hours of sleep the night before. You're now going to be physically exhausted by round 7 rather than round 10.
Wow. But, well, that's a really hard thing for fighters because they have a very difficult time sleeping the night before a big fight.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult because
Hugely
there's
problematic.
anxiety and,
Yeah.
and I would imagine it's got to be, I mean, it's probably got to take a huge toll. I mean, it's probably be a huge benefit if they can somehow or another bypass all that and just relax and learn how to relax and learn how to actually sleep.
I mean, I think, it's one of, we're constantly trying to hack the physiological system, especially in elite sports these days, because, small fractions of a percent of gain can make a huge difference.
Well, that sounds like 30%. That's a monster.
Huge, yeah. I mean, your time to, sort of not just physical exhaustion, but, the lactic acid builds up quicker the less and less that you sleep. Your ability of the lungs to actually expire carbon dioxide and inhale oxygen decreases the less sleep that you have.
That makes so much sense. Wow, because when I was doing Fear Factor and I was doing stand-up comedy and then I was also doing another television show and I was doing jiu-jitsu. I never got 8 hours sleep. I mostly got 4. Usually got 4. And my cardio always sucked.
Yeah.
It was always terrible. And I'd be like, why does my cardio suck? I work out so much. Like, that was probably what it was.
Yeah, it's a huge part of that
equation. Now, how many hours of sleep should you get?
Somewhere between, somewhere between 7 to 9 hours. Once you get below 7 hours of sleep, we can measure objective impairments in your brain and your body.
I can show that in the last 2 days. And I can show it because I basically did the same workout 2 days in a row. The day before, I had flown back from Boston, very tired. Hung out with my kids all day, went to get some sleep, but then I had to do some stuff at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I just never really got good sleep. And then my youngest daughter got up at 5. She was crying. And then eventually my alarm went off at 8. So my sleep was like 3 or 4 hours. It was all screwy. And the night before it was even less because I had flown and I had to get up early for the flight. And I tried to sleep on the plane. And I went running and I felt like dog shit.
Yeah.
And then during the day I felt like dog shit. I just didn't have, like, as I was running, I just didn't have any extra gear. I was like, ugh. I did it. I pushed through it, but then it was over. I was like, oh. Well, last night I slept 7.5 hours. Woke up today, lifted weights, ran, felt great. Feel great now. Like 2 days in difference. I mean, that's the difference. The difference is one day I got real sleep. One day I didn't. I did the exact same thing, even more today. I lifted weights today as well, and I just feel great. So I could see it physiologically in the difference in my performance in 24 hours.
Yeah, and that's noticeable. I mean, we see that too. Your peak muscle strength, your physical vertical jump height, and your peak running speed. All of those things correlate with sleep. The less that you have, the worse those outcomes are. Probably one of the most surprising factors, though, was injury risk. When they've looked at athletes across a season, and they've just plotted, how frequently will they get injured? And then they surveyed them, how much sleep were you getting? And they bucketed them into sort of people who are getting 9 hours, 7 hours, 6, 5, 4. And it's a perfect linear relationship. The less sleep that you have, higher your injury risk. So people getting 9 hours versus 5 hours, there was almost a 60% increase in probability of injury risk